Okay. Now is when you hit the streaming button. Start streaming. Go live. And we are connecting. Let me know if everything is coming through in the audio. I'm checking out the comments now. I'm in the comment section. As soon as a few people pop up, we'll get this on the road. What's up, Lester? Can you hear me? Meet the Mets, Shermanator. Is the audio coming through? How do we sound? Go on Facebook. That was the YouTube crowd. What's up, Lester? Hello there.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How's everything?
Still coming through. How do we sound?
You're sounding pretty good. I can hear you fine on YouTube.
Go on Facebook. Mm-hmm. That was the YouTube crowd.
There's an echo. What the hell is the echo? Is the echo you?
That might be me. I just turned it off. I had it playing my thing, so I turned that off.
So what's up? What is going on? What are you feeling?
Just one of those rare times when I'm actually here right when you guys start.
We never start anyway to begin with, so.
Yeah, true.
So it's always like 10-ish. I usually have an audio meltdown or some crap.
What seemed to be interesting to me, which I sent to you, was I did some of the digging, and
I saw.
Those guys had 2 people at the Senior Bowl, and they updated it based on interviews they knew, and what surprised me is just how narrow it was. It was only O-linemen and linebackers that they interviewed. Granted, it was all from the North roster. I'm assuming they'll probably do the South roster sometime later, but I thought it was kind of interesting just how narrow it was in that sense. I have a feeling they know who they want to go with for number 2, and they're just trying to pick the second, third, and 2 fourth-rounders that we've got.
Remember when somebody told everybody that status quo was happening? You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember status quo? Everything, we were coming back. The whole team is coming back, and we're gonna have another go round with the same crew. Saddle up, Giant fans, because they ain't taking a quarterback at 2. They're taking Barkley at 2, and they're gonna mess around with the draft, pick up some linebackers, pick up some linemen, and it's Eli or bust.
I got a troubling quote for you, James. I know you're not gonna like it.
There's so much I don't like. People are calling me miserable.
No, this one's very good.
I think everybody's crazy. Go ahead.
I'm digging on Twitter right now as we speak. Where is it?
Oh.
It could be that they just like Webb. That is a possibility.
Reset.
Where the fuck did it go? Oh, no cursing. There's a family show.
It wasn't even me. I didn't even curse. I didn't even say it. I'm trying to be good.
Dude, you sound like legitimately depressed about that.
I'm totally I'm depressed. I'm down on the whole organization, and I'm not going to have a Gettleman, Shurmur, Betcha. Don't wake me when they're in the playoffs 3 years in a row, because this was an opportunity. Mara blew it with the McAdoo thing. Absolutely blew it with McAdoo. He hired McAdoo for one reason, Eli Manning. They get in a situation this year where they have the whole deck out in front of them, where not only do they fire the head coach and the general manager, so they should have dibs on any coach that they want. This is the New York Giants that you're talking about, and they're in position to not only look at Eli Manning and put him in not look at Eli Manning, but look at Webb before you're in a position to be either choosing between the dream scenario, Allen goes 1, Rosen and Darnold are sitting there for you at 2. And now you're sitting here in a position where you haven't seen Davis Webb whatsoever in the games that mean anything. They were in a position for Mara to be able to play that card and to see it until Eli started crying, the fans started crying, everybody started crying, turned into giant-sized snowflakes, and then we had to go back to Eli Manning. And now you're promised wholesale changes. It's all going to change, and the only thing that's changing is from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Gettleman was an Accorsi guy. He was the guy that was almost there for Reese. It wasn't an outside-the-box wholesale change hire. Gettleman was the predictable hire from day one. Shurmur, the way Shurmur happened, I don't care what you want to tell yourself, but the Giants settled on Pat Shurmur.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what I don't know. With the question nobody's asking, here's the question nobody's asking, right? And I think it's a legitimate question to ask, considering what we know as of today about Eli Manning, right? Eli Manning is coming back. That's it. And he's coming back because of the Eagle games. That's the best. That's the best. Is that, remember when Gettleman said that he needed to go back and look at all the tape? Well, apparently the only tape that he watched was the Eagle game, was the aberration, right? So now we're going back to Eli Manning, right? And now you get Gettleman and you get Shurmur. And I got a feeling what happened was Patricia, McDaniels, name the coach, said, we're sitting at 2. I want a young quarterback, and I want to go ahead with that young quarterback. And I got news for you. The Giants said, we're not getting rid of Eli.
Yeah.
And it led people to go another way. That's what I think happened. I think everything else is complete bullshit.
To be fair, I think there is some legitimacy in saying that let's say they choose Rosen or Darnold at 2. I think it's legitimate to say that no matter who you choose, even if you go with Rosen, they probably could gain something from sitting for at least a bit. Maybe not the entire season, but
well, here's the other thing that I think, John, this is hilarious too, and this is why I sound depressed. It's not depressed. It's completely, it's frustrated. It's aggravated with the Giant fans, with everybody. So here's the situation, right? So now everybody all of a sudden is saying now, because Shurmur, they're going to draft a quarterback, right? So now they're taking a quarterback at 2. Okay, great. So now you take a quarterback at 2. All right. Well, last year, okay, forgive me if I'm wrong, when the Giants sucked midway through the season and we wanted to go to Davis Webb and see another player play, Eli cried. Okay, so now let me play this card, devil's advocate, because you need to play it if Eli's going to be back on your team and you're going to draft a quarterback at 2. What if we suck?
What if
are you telling me are you telling me come week 8 that we're not allowed to evaluate the younger quarterback that now we took it to as opposed to the third round if Eli starts crying again? Because Eli already came out. Hold on. Eli already came out and said two things. He came out and said he wants to play, and he also said that when you're a young kid drafted in that spot, you got to play. So which is it?
I got the quote for you. You ready? And it's in perfect timing too. You ready for it? David Gettleman.
Drive me crazy.
From David Gettleman. About Davis Webb. Ready? I know nothing about him. I know that he's a double transfer.
Stop. Done. Fucking the defense rests. You wanted a family show. You killed it with I know nothing about him.
Wait, there's more. Do you want me to
How
finish
is that
press?
fucking possible?
There goes the family
What
show.
is happening in that building? Go.
I spent some time talking to him.
Fine.
He seems like a great kid.
Okay, you know what?
He knows he followed Eli around and knows how to be a pro. That's all I know.
Maybe it's possible that they still go with a QB and they just have like they have like a similar situation to how Eli was, where it's like
no, but you don't. Hold on, wait a minute, stop, because you don't get it. Now it's just excuses and like, all right, here's what we can do because we totally fucked up the situation. No, like you have to hold. They're not being held accountable. Nobody is holding anyone accountable for the total. You don't know what they're going to do. He's telling you what they're going to do. They don't know what Davis Webb is. He was on the fucking team for a year. You were 2-10.
Yeah, well,
You
had every opportunity to see this kid play.
He wasn't the GM at the time, though.
Yeah.
No. But didn't we make? And that is why. Who have we been saying from day one was to blame for all of this? Mara,
McAdoo, and Reese, and Mara.
Well, McAdoo and Reese, I'm very sorry. They got thrown under the bus for trying to see the young kids. This goes on Mara. Like he was going to fire them at the and you can laugh all you want, but that's the truth, right? He was going to fire them at the end of the year. It's not the Giants' way to fire a coach in the middle of the season. Why did he fire him in the middle of the season? Because the shit went wrong. Because the plan went awry.
Well, the plan went awry because they were absolute idiots and they didn't just go immediately to David.
No. They weren't idiots. No. The plan went awry. No, the plan went awry. Stop it. The plan went awry because of pussy, because of Eli Manning crying like a pussy, the Giant fans crying like pussies, the older players, I'm going to show up on the sideline and wear his jerseys. It was time for him to sit down. If Eli can play the card in 2004 that it was all business and not pleasure, and then 2004 he didn't want to go to San Diego because I don't want to go to San Diego because I just don't want to. I want to go to New York. Well, if you can play that card, when it's your time to sit down, you sit down.
You're ignoring the crucial. You're ignoring like the crucial factor in this.
Oh, hold on.
What am I ignoring? What is there to ignore? There's reality.
Negative.
For the rookie, the first week, like they were trying to do this stupid transition with Geno Smith. And
who cares? Who cares? Sit down, Eli. Who cares? Who cares who they put in? Who cares who they put in? They didn't have to give him a reason.
Negative.
They don't have to give him a reason. They don't owe him a reason. They're paying him $22 million. Sit the fuck down. I could put in Little Debbie from Little Sisters of the Poor if I want to play her and see what she got. I owe you nothing but a handshake. You're getting paid $22 million.
Again,
sit down.
That's not what I'm arguing. I'm arguing that a lot of the outrage did not directly come from just the we're sitting Eli, but also the we're sitting Eli for Geno.
No. It would have been for anybody because of his streak. Nobody wanted to break this. You're going to break the streak for Geno? You're going to break the streak. It would have been the same thing. You're going to break the streak for Webb, a third-round pick that never played. You're going to put him behind this offensive line with these weapons. It makes no sense. It would have been the same argument.
This is what should have happened. This is what should have happened. Eli, we're down 35 points. Eli gets pulled. Webb goes in second half, or Geno goes in second half. Then you put Webb in. One of those two. Then the question is, who's going to start from there forward? That's how it should have went. It shouldn't have been.
Even if it doesn't go perfectly like that, you owe no one nothing. Hey, Eli, here's where they really fucked up. Children's show. Here's where they really messed up. They should have read the tea leaves three. They should have read the tea leaves 3 weeks prior to sit.
Thankfully, James's phone is breaking in and out. Tim, is that you on the other line?
Yes, I am. I'm so glad I came in late.
You're just enjoying the show. Hold on, let me try to add another caller on. See what's up.
Captain Negative was on.
Yes, he was. He showed up. What's up, caller? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up? It's Tony from Hoboken.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up for you?
Hey, what's up, man? First of all, Eli Manning wasn't crying, saying, don't sit me. He's been nothing but a professional. And for you to say these things about Eli Manning, are you a Giant fan? Did you forget what he did? What he's going to do? You give him enough of time to play action.
Oh, my God, Eli Manning. Oh, our Eli. Our poor Eli. We said something about Eli. He's the greatest quarterback this franchise has ever seen. This move was about the next decade, not the last one. If you can't go to Eli Manning, the man who pulled his own strings to get here, who basically said we had a caller calling 2 weeks ago from San Diego. You know what he said? They hate him. Why? Because he said they didn't want to play there. So now when it was a business then and he can pull the strings to get to where he wants to go. Now 14 years and 2 Super Bowls later, when we're in a position where we didn't see it like this, you're telling me if we would have went to Eli Manning and said, listen, Eli, we're in a position that we didn't see coming. We thought we were a Super Bowl team. We were wrong. It looks like we're going to have a top 3 pick. I have to see this kid play going into the draft.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm throwing everyone on mute. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Hold on. Hey, what's up, caller? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling for Atlanta. How you doing?
Hey, what's? Hi, your phone is working.
What was that? You
That's good news. I've been getting a lot of crazy feedback on the phone. What's your question? What are you calling about?
Hey, it wasn't no question. I like your guy, man. That goes off, man. He's keeping it 100, man. It's
Thank you, buddy.
He's not telling.
Thank you.
You can't. I hate this. You can't. This organization clusterfuck the whole shit, man. He's just being honest, man. They really screwed up, man. They screwed up.
Thank you.
And it's all because I don't know what kind of power this family has. The Manning's got some damn power, dude. This kid got something over this organization. There's no way. You won us 2 Super Bowls. You said it. 14 years, dude. You did your job. We're in a position
we love him.
That we love him. You can go anywhere else and finish your career and come back and retire, dude. This is some selfish shit Eli's putting us through right now. And
they put him in. And let me be honest, okay? And stay with us. Don't stay with us because I love you,
right?
Okay? And don't get me wrong, all right? Because the way they handled it and the position they put him in was completely was fucked up. There was no reason to do that. What they should have did was 3 weeks prior at the trade deadline was go to him and say, listen. And remember, they were telling us there's a streak in this team. They're bullshit. This team sucked. Okay, we all overestimated this team. And instead of reading the tea leaves and going to Eli and saying, listen, okay, we overestimated the roster. We're in a position where we need to see Geno and we need to see Webb before we're going to be able to pick top 2 in the draft with 5 kids coming out. This is the reality of the situation. Now, you can stay with us. We don't want to. But listen, we'll let you break the streak, your brother's streak in San Francisco. But then I'm going to go to the kids. okay?
Right.
Or what I could do is you could take a couple of days and speak to your brother and your dad. You can get on the phone with Tom Coughlin. You can get on the phone with John Elway. I give you permission to speak to both guys. You tell us where you want to go, and we'll do right by you and send you to a contender that you want to go to. Now, you're telling me that Eli Manning, the classy guy that he is, wouldn't look at it and be like, you know what, this sucks. I wanted to finish my career as the Giants, but they're coming to me. They're being honest. I think I would consider waiving my no-trade clause in that situation and going to the place that I can decide that my brother has had a situation that knows them in Elway, and I know Coughlin like I'm a second son to him.
Right.
So you could have handled it that way. Now, they didn't do that. So fast forward 3 weeks. Sit down, Eli. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like here's the situation. We apologize. We know this sucks. This isn't the way we saw it happening. We need to see this kid play. And then when he came out and the guy who called in and just said, who am I to say that? He didn't cry. He cried. He was crying at his locker because they benched him. Now, listen, I feel for the guy. I love him. He's the greatest quarterback in the history of the New York Giants. And if you ask me who my favorite Giant was, I would tell you Phil Simms. Okay? Eli's the best quarterback this franchise has ever seen. Hands down. Right. It's not even a question. Right. All right? There's a time where you have to do what's best for the franchise and the next decade as opposed to the last decade. And if you make decisions based off of resumes and streaks and sentimental values in this business, you end up with McAdoo as your coach. I am stepping off of my box now. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. And, hey, and I can't say Pat Shurmur was a settle. They had to settle. They was via reports, they was heavy on Patricia. And I think they didn't want to give Patricia his quarterback, man. They didn't want to give him a young quarterback.
That's what I think. That's what I really think happened. I think that they went into the meeting
Eli
saying
for another year or two, and they, I'm not going to deal with that because I got other teams offering me better money, and I want to come to the better team, the team that I love, and I really love this team. But if you're not,
look at it this way: if you're Patricia or McDaniels, right, and you say to yourself, how does someone pick the Lions or Indy over the Giants job? Well, here's how it happens: you're told that you're going to have to play the next 2 years with a 37-year-old quarterback making $22 million versus your cap, or you can go play with Stafford, who's 8 years younger and just as expensive, but 8 years younger than Eli Manning, so I'm not looking for a franchise quarterback. Or I can go to Indy and I could either trade Luck and get one of these kids at 3, or I can take and play with Andrew Luck if I think that he can come back from this surgery. So those are two. It's a quarterback-driven league. If you're and if the Giants are telling you we're passing on a quarterback, we're not taking one of these 5 guys. We're going with Eli, and we're going to continue to develop Davis Webb. If you're a young coach and you're looking where you want to strap on and you're looking at these kids coming out going, these are franchise quarterbacks for the next 10, 12 years. These are the guys I want. I don't want to have to worry about what Davis Webb is going to turn into, who is a third-round pick, or is another quarterback going to come out, and am I going to be in a position to draft that quarterback when Eli's done playing?
Right.
Because if you draft a quarterback this year at 2, you put yourself in the very tough position of if you end up shitting the bed at midseason, you're in the same position that you were in this year. And that's when things get tricky because now this is a second-round pick, not a third-round pick. A second overall pick as opposed to a third-round pick that you're trying to see. The pressure is going to be on to see him if things go bad. And Eli's already said he wants to play.
Right.
Tough situation.
And tough situation in the situation with Webb. Like I said, I have friends that's inside, can give you inside information about this the team and the locker room. Webb's not that good, dude. They dropped the ball on that guy. They dropped the ball on that dude, man. I mean, for all this that we went through, and you didn't try to even get this man on the field, and now you're talking about drafting the quarterback. Then I even heard reports. There was even reports that Jerry Reese didn't even know anything, or he didn't even interview him. Didn't even interview the kid. So it's like you let Ross do all this work, and you're supposed to be the guy that gives the green light.
His phone cut off.
Yeah, did that cut out for anyone else?
Yeah,
he cut out.
What's up,
Tony,
Justin?
call
You're
back
on?
in, buddy.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm on. I have some things to say.
Uh-oh, I'm in
Go ahead.
trouble.
No,
Yep.
well, so and I've been on for 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay? So in that 7 minutes and 5 seconds, I've heard a lot of theories about a lot of different reasons about why certain actions were taken with regard to Eli Manning. And
the word you
this
left
is-
out was genius. You heard a lot of genius theories. Go ahead.
This is the way that I see it. Okay? Could the speculations that you're all making be true? Absolutely. They could be true. But I tend to think that in this scenario, specifically with the hire of Pat Shurmur, first of all, anybody that says that the Giants settled clearly isn't paying attention.
Oh, I'm
Pat
paying attention,
Shurmur-
buddy.
Pat Shurmur is one, like, if you're getting an offensive-minded quarterback, if that's what you want to do.
Pat
Shurmur-
Shurmur was a basket case in Cleveland. Pat
I don't care about
Shurmur
that.
used to go to Mike Holmgren and say, "Do you believe they're saying this about me? Do you believe they're saying
I don't
this
care
about me?
about that.
Do you believe they're saying this?" Can you imagine can you imagine?
Do you know how
I
many
don't know if
stupid
this
things
dude
I
could
did
take it,
5
dude.
years ago?
There's a difference between being a very great coordinator and being a very good head coach. Huge difference. Some guys are just phenomenal coordinators. I don't know that Shurmur's a head coach in New York. I'm concerned.
What I'm saying in reference to the whole Eli Manning, Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels conversation, and where having Eli and being forced to play Eli, if that's what you think is happening, comes into play. I want to say this. Keep in mind that Detroit's GM used to be in the scouting department for the Patriots. Is it possible, Jimmy, I feel like a lawyer, is it possible that that scout who worked with Patricia to pick out players for his defense went to Patricia and said, "Hey, come here. We're on the same page. We're not under Bill Belichick. You won't have to deal with
possible.
this shit.
As a matter of fact, that's the spin you got.
Come deal with us, and you'll get Matt Stafford." Is that possible? And secondly,
it's totally possible. It's just as possible as saying that the Giants forced Eli down everybody's throat.
If Patricia wants to go play with Matt Stafford over Eli, that's fine. You know what I say to that? Screw him.
Maybe Patricia didn't want to do that. Maybe Patricia didn't want to do that, though. Isn't it now? Allow me to retort. Isn't it quite possible that Patricia said, "Hey man, it's the New York fucking Giants. I've been studying under Bill Belichick. This is the job that he's always wanted. The New York Giants, yeah, this is where I want to go. And don't give me the shit about the big market because he's the defensive coordinator in New England. That's a huge fucking job. That alone is a huge job, okay? One can argue that's a bigger job than the head coaching job in Cleveland and other places as well, okay? Is it possible that Patricia said, yeah, I'm gung-ho, I want the job, but I want to move on from Eli. I want one of these kids in the draft.
If that's the case, then Matt Patricia is an idiot. Because
why?
Let me finish this thought. So you're telling me that he'd rather go with Matt Stafford, who's 8 years younger than Eli. If Patricia wants his own quarterback, if that's your premise, you're telling me that Patricia would rather go with Matt Stafford, who's 8 years younger than Eli, is locked into that position, and is one of two quarterbacks in NFL history to start on a team that went 0-16. 0-16.
That doesn't. Yeah, I don't hold any merit in that whatsoever.
You'd rather hitch your wagon to Stafford.
Yes.
Who's 8 years younger than
Eli for 2 years? Yes.
Then play with Eli for a year because
yes.
this just in, I'm telling you 100%, I will bet my life savings. You'll just have to trust me. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Giants are taking quarterback at 2.
Okay.
And I know it's one of 2 players. So if I know that, don't you think that the GM knows that? And the GM could tell the head coach, hey, listen, this guy, Davis Webb, we're not in on him. That idiot McAdoo, he made us pick him because he was tailor-made for his offense, and his offense shit the bed this year when we weren't expecting. We're not in on him, but I'm telling you, you can have your pick of any quarterback you want at 2. You can play Eli for a year, appease the fans, give us one more run with the supreme talent that we think that we have that was mismanaged, and then you can play your guy in a year or 2 versus 8 more years with Matt Stafford, who's never won.
Because here's what I have a relationship with a GM that I hold a clear view with in Detroit. And yes, I want this job, but I want this job under the premise that your roster is a cancer. Your locker room is a cancer, and I'm strapped to a 37-year-old quarterback who's making $22 million. So my franchise, my vision for the New York Giants is to move on with a young quarterback, rid myself of these contracts, build through the draft, and then use our money for free agency down the line.
But if that's what you want to do, if that's what Matt Patricia wants to do, then the Giants.
I don't know that Liz want to do. I'm just playing devil's advocate to the shit you're throwing out. I'm just saying.
But if that's your premise, that he wants to go with a young quarterback sooner rather than later, Matt Stafford isn't going anywhere, and Matt Stafford's worse than Eli.
See, I think you're on drugs.
Matt Stafford had a good year this year, but do you expect me to believe that Matt Stafford? Are you telling me right now that over the course of his career, Matt Stafford's a better quarterback than Eli Manning?
No,
because if you
I'm not.
I'm leaving.
Am I telling? I'm not. Am I telling you over the last 3 seasons he's been above, head and beyond, better than Eli Manning? Yes.
So
he has.
If I'm
if you also told me if I had to pick one to strap my wagon to over the next 5 years, and I wasn't going to be able to pick the quarterback to replace Eli.
But you
can't. Or move on from Eli.
He's replacing Eli now.
See, I think that's half retarded. I really do. Like, if you're going to draft a quarterback, play him. Because if you shit the bed and you're 3-6 in the middle of the season, you are in the same situation you were this year. Then what do you do?
But this is New York. What do we know about New York? New York is, as a city, with, and I love New York. I love New York. New Yorkers out there that are listening, I'm one of you. And I say this because I am one of you. New York is a town of ego. You think they're going to take back-to-back 3-13 seasons? Hell no.
I don't think that.
The Giants are thinking about, let's get Odell Beckham healthy. Let's get.
I know that's what they're thinking about. They're also changing an entire system again.
Let's bring in the.
They're also changing an entire defensive system again, and there's going to be growing pains coming out of that. Okay, so to think that they're going to just come out in the first year, no team ever in the history of the NFL winning 3 games or less in a season has gone to the Super Bowl the next season. So start planning for 2019.
This is the other thing that I want to say to you.
The phone lines are lit up. Let me try to get this.
Well,
go ahead.
I kind of have to go off at 11. So what I wanted to kind of talk about the
parting words.
Senior Bowl. the Senior Bowl originally and just kind of get your guys' idea on this. So I did a bit of digging, and I found two reporters who were at the Senior Bowl and were able to confirm a bunch of interviews. Now, they have not updated it for today, but yesterday they
O-line and linebackers, right?
Yep. The Wyatt Teller, Jamil Demby, Richard Jarvis, Miles Pierce, and Kemoko Toure. Kemoko Toure was actually on Rutgers, so you're the Rutgers
Ryan Dunleavy
had on. Yeah, you guys might want to bring him back to talk about that. But from what I've seen, from what there's been reporting on, Teller seems to be the best offensive lineman out of the group, and the general consensus that I like from what I'm getting based on just this information alone is that in all likeliness, if we go with a QB, maybe a running back, but in all likeliness, probably rounds
I'm
2
telling you, it's
and
Barkley. It's
and the
Barkley.
2 fourths are going to go
I'm telling you, it's Barkley.
linebacker.
I think it's Barkley at 2. I really do.
And you're probably going to
Barkley
like the
at 2.
pick for a little bit.
Because if it's Barkley at 2, here's the problem. If it's Barkley at 2 and the Browns want Barkley at all, take him at 1. This is the worst. This is the worst.
See, they're not going to do that if they like Allen that much. They're going to hit on the quarterback and they're going to let somebody else. They know that Barkley is going to probably be there at 4. But unless here's where it gets tricky, and this is where the Giants are probably. I mean, they could be brilliant, and who knows what's going to happen, or they can end up being idiots. See, I think taking Barkley at 2 is completely retarded, right? And I think it's retarded for 2 reasons. I think that especially if Allen goes 1, you're talking about Darnold and you're talking about Rosen being there for the taking. Now, you would think that if one of those guys was on the board, the offers are going to be off the charts for that second pick. And if the plan is to go with Eli for another 1 or 2 years and they're not sold on any of these QBs, then it would make sense to me to take a king's ransom for that second pick and trade back. I don't know why you would take a running back at 2 when you can get a bevy of players and put yourself in position to really kill it draft-wise with an extra second rounder, an extra first rounder next year. I mean,
it depends.
The package is going to be off the charts for that number 2 pick if Allen goes at 1.
It depends where you fall back to on that pick that you're getting back in the first round. Because here's the thing. Here's the very realistic possibility. Okay? You got to remember that the brain trust that selected the new GM has a strong belief that to build a winner, the first thing that you need is the franchise quarterback. And
of course,
they agree with all of us. They agree that Eli, he might be the answer this year and maybe next year, but even if they think that he's the answer this year and he's not the answer next year, you need your replacement. And if you're going to play Eli, you're playing Eli to try and win games, which means that you're not banking on being this high to take a quarterback again. So
take Darnold
fact
then.
Of the matter remains
then fucking
that,
take Darnold at 2.
Fact of the matter remains that they may think that Darnold or Rosen at 2 and playing Eli this year is their best chance to
have their cake and eat it too.
to elongate the window for the entire team. And if they have to play Darnold next year or Rosen next year, well, my money's on Darnold. If they have to play Darnold next year, then so be it. You can get.
Yeah, I'd rather just play the kid and fucking let him go through the aches and pains of a Jared Goff and a Wentz and come out better in year two. And Eli said it himself. You know, these kids learn from playing.
And
they don't learn from just sitting. So, you know, it becomes, all right, well, you're going to mold them for 2 years, and then, you know, you're going to have growing pains where you can get those out of the way right away.
You know what? I was thinking something. Do you guys think that it's possible that Gettleman, who obviously has stated that he wants to build up the offensive line, might consider the failure of the running game more on the offensive line than the running backs, and potentially we don't even grab a running back in this draft?
I don't know what to expect. I don't know. I mean, I think that one of the exciting parts of this year is that we don't know what the hell is going to happen.
Is
Tim
on the line?
I hope not. I think you need a better running back. I don't want to be complacent and just say Darkwa and Gallman are our guys. Like, if there's a way to upgrade at the position, upgrade at the goddamn position and go get a player.
I want to throw this to Tim in answer to that question. Tim, can you hear me?
Tim? Maybe he stepped away.
Okay. What Tim always tells me about Orleans Darkwa is that he's always hurt. He'll run off a 75-yard run, but then he's got a calf injury and he's out a game and a half.
Right.
He's not a running back that you're gonna build your team around. He's not a workhorse. Listen, you want to know about Pat Shurmur? One thing that I can tell you about Pat Shurmur, he's going to run the football. You can bet your ass he's going to run the football. The Minnesota Vikings had the most rushing attempts in the league and the 7th most yards. So he's going to run the football.
I'd like to see him bring McKinnon with him.
He should bring McKinnon with him because that guy's a player.
That guy's a player. I'd like to see him bring McKinnon with him. McKinnon would make me happy.
Because, you know, the other thing about McKinnon is he can catch the ball out of the freaking backfield. And I can't remember. I feel like the last running back that we had that could catch a ball was Kiki friggin' Barber.
And he's gonna be a free agent because you figure that.
Yo, am I in?
Yeah, you're in.
All right. God damn, I've been on fucking mute, and I've been trying to argue, and I was like, these assholes are completely ignoring me.
Oh yeah, welcome to the club, buddy. Welcome to the club.
Okay,
back on mute.
First of all, I'm gonna get to the points that I've been trying to make while I thought I was getting ignored. First of all, let's get back to Patricia real quick for 2 seconds. Patricia, I already read an article halfway through the season that he didn't even want to be a head coach in the first place, which tells me the Patriots are probably breaking up, and that's why he left. He went to Detroit. He was going to Detroit the whole time. And other than that 1 week, he was reported he was our favorite to come to the Giants. He was always going to go to Detroit. That being said, personally, I do think he's scared of the big stage. But to agree with James, which I don't say that often, Detroit is actually the better team to go to right now. Stafford is the better quarterback. Detroit missed the playoffs by 1 game. They were a good team. But, you know, that being said, I still think Patricia's a pussy for not coming to New York. Now, as far as McDaniels, he wanted too much power. That's why he had to go to some crap team like Indy or Tennessee he thought about going to. And I love that Tennessee got screwed, and now they got Mike Vrabel, who seemed like he retired like 5 years ago, and all of a sudden he's a head coach now. Now, to go to the argument over Eli. Eli's going to play this. Eli's going to play one more year. The main reason he's going to play one more year, financially, it makes no sense for us to get rid of him unless we restructure his contract, and that's the only way it's going to work. Pretty much the beat writer reported that last week to us. It just makes no sense with the dead money. And the funny thing is, to agree with James again, if that's the case, you got to go Sam Darnold at 2, because technically Sam Darnold probably should have stayed another year in college. It probably would be the best fit if Sam Darnold was the one that sat behind Eli. Now, as far as getting the running back at 2, again, there's no running back worth taking at number 2. I know Barkley's amazing, but we need a damn offensive line to block for him. He can't run by himself. And I've already seen, like, in the Buffalo, I know the Buffalo sports scene. Buffalo's already talking about trading both their number 1s and a first-rounder next year to get up so they can grab one of these 4 quarterbacks.
I'm telling you, man, the package is going to be ridiculous.
The trade market is going to be insane. That's
I'm telling you, the Colts are sitting there right now like Mr. Burns, just like twiddling their fingers, just sitting there waiting. Because even if, no matter which way it goes, if it goes Allen Darnold, if it goes Allen Rosen, the other guy is going to be there. And if they have luck, come calling. What do you want to offer me? God forbid the Giants go Barkley, and then they're sitting there with the King's ransom waiting for them. Woo!
And I was listening to Jordan Renan earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing some live thing on Twitter, and he was like saying the one guy that he could see the Giants not drafting a quarterback for, he's like, I could see possibly a Bradley Chubb getting picked at 2.
Oh, I would break my television.
Yeah.
I would. My kids would call the 911. I'd be in a straitjacket getting dragged out to the mental institution. There's no way. Dude, I would flip.
I'll tell you why that's not going to happen. We're going to a 3-4. We're going back to old school Giants football. We're going back to '86.
I can't wait to see how they make these pieces fit in a 3-4.
By the way, I think Vernon is a 3-4 linebacker. Let's be honest. Vernon is a 3-4. JPP.
They don't have one middle linebacker. Where are they getting to?
Hold on a second.
My question is, what are they doing with Tomlinson?
They don't have one middle linebacker. Where are they getting 2 from?
I just want to tell you.
Draft the second one.
Does Tomlinson? I got a question for you. Can Tomlinson play? Can they play Tomlinson at a defensive end spot?
Yeah, they already talked about that. Yeah, he was playing at Alabama like that. He could play that position.
He's still.
I went to dinner with my 90-year-old grandfather tonight.
Was Ernie there?
And no, Ernie was not there. I went to dinner with my 90-year-old grandfather tonight. I told him that we hired a head coach that's going to bring a 3-4 in. I've never seen my grandfather so happy in my entire life. It led to a 25-minute conversation in which he waxed poetic about Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, Harry Carson, and our own personal friend of the podcast, Gary Reason.
Oh, Gary, I love you.
He was so happy. He was like, and this is a direct quote, he goes, "It's about freaking time that we invest in some linebackers. Give me some linebackers." It made me so happy.
Yeah, I just don't know. Here's the thing. It's awesome that they're going to go, but do you have the pieces that are going to fit right away? And can you go out and get enough quality pieces to fit in your scheme in one season? Like, I don't, like, it's a nice thought, but in reality, it's really tough to do. I mean, it's
I think
difficult.
it's going to take 2 years.
I mean,
2 years, 2 years for it to be solid.
Right.
There is free agency, and I think, in fact, to address the whole point on the upgrade at the running back, I think that's where they're going to get that, because Blunt's off his 1-year contract after this. I think they might be able to grab him. I think that
Blunt sucks.
I have no interest in Blunt.
He's a goal line back. And you know what? I agree with you, Justice, on the Darkwa. I did hear you on the Darkwa stuff. Darkwa is not. The Darkwa's not worth it.
Tim, I was trying to get you some airtime.
Thank you.
You know what?
I was yelling. I was literally yelling. Like, are you guys fucking kidding me that you can't hear me?
Oh, I heard you.
Hold on. I have two people who've been on hold forever. Hold on. Let's see who's calling. Well, I'm gonna be picking up the 267.
Tim, did you hear the guy that called up and loved me that I flip out?
Yeah,
I
was literally like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
All right, I wanted to know if you heard that guy. I want to know if you heard that.
I was pretty much
Captain Negative.
That's me.
Hold on. Let's pick up this guy. Ready? Hey, what's up,
Hello?
Paul? Where are you calling from?
Who, me?
267 area code?
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. What's your name?
What's going on, guys? I'm sitting here. I've been a diehard Giants fan my whole life since basically birth. And I live here in e-girl country, so that sucks ass. I just wanted to know your thoughts on this. I'm seriously thinking the Giants are going to go with the number 2 with Barkley, if Cleveland doesn't take him. However, I feel like if there's a chance they could move up, you think Lamar Jackson might be there for him if they can move up to possibly get him?
No way.
No.
You don't think he would fit in the scheme?
The Giants are not.
You don't have to listen, friend. You don't have to sell me on Lamar Jackson. I think the guy's a player. The only concerns I have about Lamar Jackson are this: Can he make it through 16 games without getting killed? I mean, just with his body type and the way he plays, if you're going to invest that high of a pick in a guy, I don't know that with that style that he plays. Now, I think he can be Michael Vick-like. I think the guy is absolutely electric. If he can learn to use his legs to get him out of the pocket, keep his head up, get the ball downfield, and use his legs more to elude the rush and make a play with his arm, throw the ball away, slide. If he can develop that, the kid's got a shot. That kid has a lot of talent. He could throw the ball on a line for 80 yards. I mean, that kid can do a lot on the football field. He's a weapon.
And that's what I was thinking would be good with, considering Pat Shurmur, being the quarterback's guy that he is, could develop Jackson into being that type of QB.
I mean, I think that Shurmur would work well with any of these guys, but I don't see where we are, how we would end up. I think they're gonna end up making the pick at 2, and I don't think you would take Jackson over Darnold or Rosen. I just don't see that.
No. What I was saying was you take Barkley with the number 2, and then you try to trade up to get Jackson.
Oh, try to trade back into the second round. I mean, if you wanted to play that game, get me the Jets on the line, and I'll trade back to 6.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And maybe I take Baker Mayfield or Jackson there.
Don't
if
trade
the other
the
3 or 4 quarterbacks are off the board at that point. I think what you're going to see is even if those teams don't like Indy doesn't need a quarterback. I still think Josh Rosen, Darnold, and Allen are going top 3 because I think somebody's going to trade up and get that pick. And then I'm looking at Cleveland, and then Cleveland's sitting there, and then Cleveland has a decision to make where, if let's say Allen, Darnold, and Rosen go 1, 2, 3, forget who the teams are. They're off the board. Now all of a sudden the next wave of guys is, all right, how do I get my hands on Baker Mayfield? How do I get my hands on Lamar Jackson? And you can bet teams are going to be trying to trade up to get the guy they want.
I got you.
Okay, so this is how I think it's going to go down. Cleveland is going to walk away with both Barkley and any one of the three top-tier quarterbacks.
See, that's what I'm with you. I think Allen goes to them at 1, and Barkley goes at 4.
I think they go Barkley first because they'll no matter what, they'll still get their quarterback. They'll still get one of the top 3 quarterbacks.
No, see, if you like Allen that much, you can't gamble. You can't gamble. If you like Allen that much, you cannot take the chance that you're going to take Barkley and then that Allen's going to be there at 4. Because what if on your board you have Allen, Rosen, Darnold, just like that, and then all of a sudden you say I'm going to take Barkley at 1, and the Giants take Rosen at 2, and somebody trades up with Indianapolis and takes Allen at 3, and now you're sitting there with who you had the third quarterback on your board. The third quarterback on your board now you're stuck with. You could have had the guy you wanted at Allen still been sitting there at 4, and no matter which way you slice it, because teams are going to come up to get the quarterbacks, Barkley's going to be there at 4.
Depending. What about Indy?
Yeah,
if I'm Indy with the holes I have on that team, you have to figure that Indy's going to be. It's a gamble, but you gamble with the quarterback, not with the running back. I'm sorry, you gamble with not getting the running back. You don't gamble with not getting the quarterback. You secure the quarterback where you can get him, and you say, I'm still in prime position to get Barkley. Let me see how this works out.
Listen,
Cleveland has a shit ton of picks. Who knows if Cleveland doesn't call Cleveland? If things get hot, Cleveland could always call Indy and trade up a pick.
All right, let's go to the next.
I'd be very surprised if Indy does not trade.
All right.
All right, here we go. He's been on for a while. I don't know your number. Let's see. All right, talk to you later, man.
So, here's the thing.
Hold on. 770 area code. What's your name?
It's Atlanta.
Oh, shit. Hot Atlanta.
Who's Atlanta that's on the line?
770 is Atlanta? All right.
I'm
pretty
sure.
Gone. 860 area code. You're up.
How's it going?
Good.
Turn
down the radio.
What's up, man?
So, question. I think the Giants are going to actually. Do you think the Giants are going to pick Barkley for the first round?
Yeah.
No.
I think that if you're going to take him, that's where you got to. If you're going to get Barkley, you got to take him at 2.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I honestly think that the Giants are going to get Barkley at number 2 instead of getting a quarterback.
I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I mean, it'd be nice for a year, but then what happens when Eli's done? What happens after the year?
You still got David.
And let's say we had a good season. Let's say we made playoffs. Then what are we in the back of the first round, and we don't have our heir apparent? If let's say Davis Webb isn't the guy, if we don't have our heir apparent.
If you're making the selection, to me there's only 2 options, and Barkley's not one of them. To me, if you're sitting at 2, it's either you're taking a quarterback or you're trading that pick to somebody who wants a quarterback who's going to give you a shit ton of picks in return to move back. Then the question becomes how far they're moving back, and then it's a whole different conversation on who would be available at that point. But I think those are your only 2 options at 2. And it's not a knock on Barkley. It doesn't mean that I don't like Barkley as a prospect. I love him. But the board has to dictate what you do for the best interest of your franchise. And if you're sitting at 2 and you don't want one of those quarterbacks, and you're getting another GM on the line that's offering you another first-round pick, a second-round pick, another first-round pick next year, and another third-round pick this year, and another pick late next year, you have to consider taking that bounty of picks. And you're going to be like, well, that's a crazy amount of picks, James. Nobody's going to give you that. Oh, they're going to, because Allen and Rosen are on the board. You have teams that are bidding against each other, not for one guy, for 2 guys. Now, if you like Allen or if you like Darnold, then you take that guy. You don't fuck around. You don't mess around like Cleveland. You take Allen. Giants, take the guy you want. If you don't like one of those guys, though, to not listen to the offers that will be coming in, you're killing yourself.
Foolish.
Yeah, like James said, you got to trade back. The reports are already Buffalo wants one of these quarterbacks, wants one of the 4 or 5, and they're already willing to trade their 2 first-round picks, which is I think 20 and 21, plus a first-rounder next year.
I mean, that's a hell of a package, and guys, we're not even close to the draft.
And that might be just to get in the top 10. That's not even would be for our pick.
Yeah,
exactly. For the second pick overall. So, and you would get a king's ransom for them to move up.
King's ransom, especially if Allen goes 1 and you're on the clock with those 2 guys on the board. The offers that are be coming in are going to be ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, we're not even close to the draft. We haven't even had a combine yet, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And Buffalo's throwing out 3 first-round picks.
2 things to keep in mind on Barkley.
Yeah.
2 things to keep in mind on picking Barkley. 1, Barkley's going to go a lot higher than some people in this podcast might think.
He's going top 5, 100%.
Because of Ezekiel Elliott and because of Leonard Fournette. If you watch,
I think he should go top. I think he should go top 5.
Yeah, without doubt, top 5.
I agree.
I think if you didn't have these quarterbacks, I think right now he's probably the best player in the draft. The problem is you got 5 quarterbacks right now that could be franchise quarterback. Could be franchise quarterback.
Second thing, and I agree with everything that you guys have said about the trade value of the pick and the value of running backs in the first round and all those sorts of things. I agree with it all. But what I'm saying to you is that if the draft falls in a way where the Giants end up with Saquon Barkley, if that occurs, then you can bet your bottom dollar that Pat Shurmur is comfortable with Davis Webb being the quarterback of the future. That's what that means.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
that's what that would say to me.
Exactly.
That's what it would say to me.
Forget about getting
honestly, that would be the best
quarterback
thing
is Davis Webb.
But let me tell you something. I honestly think, and again, I mean, even if you think that's the case, and Eli is the way you're going to go and you're confident with Webb, I think you're a fool taking Barkley if the offer on the table is 4 first-round picks and a second and a third.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're a fool not taking the trade. I think when you look at it, and I love Barkley, but the kid is 21, 22 years old. He's got a 7-8 year shelf life, if that, for running backs who take a beating. I don't know that I would not rather have 5 or 6 prime players as opposed to Barkley.
Well, and that's my thing too, James. I agree with you, because the fact is, if the best case scenario is Pat Shurmur talks to Davis Webb, sees him play a little bit, is like, you know what, this kid is it. That'd be the best case scenario, and be like, good, we got our heir apparent. We trade back, get the king's ransom, use those picks to turn this defense into the 3-4 scheme that it can be. Trade back
100%.
and get Roquan
Yes.
Smith from Georgia, the linebacker, a guy like that.
I don't care. I don't care who they get. It doesn't I can't even sit here right now and project late first-round picks or second-round picks. It's too early, right? But if you said that, okay, well, for the number 2 pick in the draft, we're going to get, let's say, the offer right now on the table to get in the top 10 is 3 first-rounders, right? We know that. So let's try to assume what it would take to get to 2 from someone in that range, mid-range. You're assuming those 3 first-rounders are on the table. You're going to get at least another.
Let's go low. In Buffalo,
you're going to go. So let's go to 3 first-rounders.
You get the extra second round or something like that, because they have
3 first-rounders. You get the second rounder. You're going to get another pick, though. All right. So if you tell me, and that pick is going to be a top 3 pick, it's going to be a top 3 round pick. All right. So you're going to get 5 picks, and 3 of them are going to be first-rounders. If you told me that you're going to get me Pick the positions, guys. Linebacker, corner, lineman, another lineman.
Well, so
you can make a bunch of areas on your team better to go along with what you have now instead of just saying we have Barkley.
For example, I'll tell you right now, guys. Let's say if we.
And I don't know that that's the right move, Tim. I don't know that that's the right move, but it's fucking tempting when you have that offer on the table.
Yeah, it is. So let's say we just traded back a few picks. Let's say we went back to like 6. I would be fine with the Giants drafting Quentin Nelson, the guard out of Notre Dame, who's supposed to be.
That's never going to happen. We could talk about that, but that's never going to happen. Because at 6, there is the danger that you traded a franchise quarterback to the Jets.
Yeah, I agree. First of all,
that is you want to have shit on your face for 15 years. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Well, so the key thing about those trade ransom scenarios that we're talking about. First of all, everybody keep in mind what the Rams got for Robert Griffin III. And I can tell you that NFL scouts across the board value this guy more than Robert Griffin III at the time when Robert Griffin was drafted. So it's going to be a similar sort of package that's going to get us out of there. Now, to answer the later question about how the Giants utilize those picks, that has a lot to do with how the new defensive coordinator views the talent that we already have. We've already touched on what he can do with Dalvin Tomlinson, what he can do with Olivier Vernon. Where do you put Jason Pierre-Paul in there? But the other thing that you have to keep in mind about the Arizona Cardinals is even though they run a 3-4, they run some pretty exotic schemes, right?
Very true.
The year before
Deion Buchanan was their middle linebacker, and he was the safety.
Yeah, their middle linebacker was Deion Buchanan, who was drafted as a safety and played as safety for a few years in the league. They made him a middle linebacker. I'm not saying that they're going to do this, but, Landon Collins has that skill set.
No, it seems like Betcha will put the guys in the best position to make plays within his scheme. He'll use the pieces that he has within his scheme to put him in good positions to make plays, and that's a positive. That's a good thing. But you can't tell me that.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but the 5 or 6 picks that you would be getting back. What you can do with those picks.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You can get better at so many different positions across your board as opposed to, and we're sitting here off of the assumption that that Davis Webb they're happy with Davis Webb and that they would even consider doing this.
That's
in the end, when we get to reality, it's quarterback or bust at 2.
Right. But what I like about the Becker hire is I paid some extra attention to the Arizona defense over the last few years because I'm in a fantasy league where we have to take individual defensive players, and your boy owned Deion Buchanan, and that guy, they just basically let him rove and make plays. And I'm telling you that Landon Collins has more skill than that guy. What Landon Collins is going to be able to do in this scheme when Betcher, turns him loose, the sky's the limit. And I'm excited.
I hope you're right.
Because Betcher's got the cojones to be aggressive on defense. And I can't remember the last time the Giants were aggressive on defense. They play this pressure with your front 4, and those days are gone. You want to talk about wholesale changes? That's one of our favorite catchphrases on our Facebook chat. Wholesale changes.
Yeah. Wholesale changes. Wholesale changes.
This is a wholesale fucking change.
It's the only one.
Yeah, I want to see sacks. I want to see turnovers. That's what I want to see. That's what I grew up the Giants being. Where it's like, hey, we ran the ball. We maybe threw a touchdown pass. But you know what?
How about
we
solid, balanced
got
team
the pick six.
that shows up every week and plays hard?
Yep.
How about that? Let's just get, like, right now they are so inconsistent and such a clusterfuck. Can we get to the point where for 60 minutes you're just playing hard? Just give us all you got. Like, let's just get there. And the wins will take care of themselves. Like there needs to be and here's another concern is you're putting Shurmur in a situation where this locker room was a cancer.
Mm-hmm.
For as much as I don't give a fuck about Eli Manning crying, it was fucked up that his teammates and shit were partying and laughing in the background while he was sitting there trying to give an interview. There is a problem with the players in this locker room. And you can say it's McAdoo, but these are grown-ass men.
Yep. No, I agree.
Okay.
But that's where I think Gettleman's going to come in, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of right now. There's a lot of new, and we're excited, and it's Gettleman and it's Shurmur, and it's something new. But let's not lose sight of how difficult of a job this is going to be. I mean, this isn't something that you just walk in, flick a switch, and you're like, okay, we're 11-5. Like, this is a process now. And the first thing is, like, we want to have a dominating defense, and we want to can we just get a team that shows up every week and plays hard? Like, just start there.
Yep. And
because the effort and everything is just it's disgusting.
If they're playing hard every week, and we know we have let's put it this way, all I want is a chance that we win every week. You know how hard it was going into the rest of half this season, being like, I know they have no chance, even though I'm saying they do. I know they have no chance of winning.
By week 6, and don't get me wrong.
And don't even get me wrong. Like, I'm not a guy that sits here and like, if they play hard and they lose a tough game, like, you tip your cap to the other team and you say, hey, you know, what are you going to do? Tough game. It's the games that you just sit there and you're like, what the fuck? What is happening? What was that? I've been watching football all day. I haven't seen that all season. That was disgusting. What is that? That is you have to eliminate that. And
100%.
Even going back to the days of, even with McAdoo, even going back with Coughlin a little bit, just up and down. Like, one week that you look like a world beater, and the next week you look like you couldn't beat a Pop Warner team. Yep. Can we just consistently show up and play hard? Can Shurmur get them there? That's where you have to start, and then you go from there.
I'm with you. The streaks were ridiculous.
Once you get them playing hard and you start building some camaraderie, and you win a couple of tough games, and you get a little momentum going, and you lose a tough game, and then you come back and win a tough game. Those are the things that build for a coach throughout a season. And I said it earlier: no team in the history of the NFL that has won 3 games or less in the next season has gone to the Super Bowl. So next year, to me, is building for 2019, is building blocks for Shurmur for 2019. Are we throwing the year out the window? Is it impossible that they can't? It's not. They can do it. But realistically, from where we are, let's not put us in the NFC Championship. Let's realize how difficult it is to go from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Let's realize how difficult it is to change another system with another quarterback at 36 years old, 37 years old. There's a lot of things that need to be put in place here, and this isn't just a flick of the switch.
And Jimmy, you're exactly right, because these decisions that they've made to this point, let's be clear. The reason you hire Pat Shurmur over Matt Patricia, the reason that you do that, if that's the choice that you make, is because you want to have a head coach that can develop a young quarterback. Now, I say that also saying that when you have Eli Manning's his own coach. And Eli Manning could learn more about the quarterback position from his own family if he wanted to than anybody the Giants could bring in. So you're not bringing in an offensive-minded head coach to have an impact on Eli Manning because that's just stupid. You're bringing in your offensive-minded head coach to develop the next quarterback, whoever that is. So don't judge Pat Shurmur on this year. I mean, game planning, play calling, all those sorts of things, that's fine. But in terms of performance, don't judge Pat Shurmur this year. Don't judge the defensive coordinator this year because we don't have the personnel to play a 3-4. So unless he's going to play a 4-3, which he's never coached in the NFL, then we're changing to a 3-4. That's going to take time. That's
it takes time.
2020. So these hires are indicating the Giants know that this is a long-term rebuild. It's not tomorrow. That said,
they gave him a 5-year contract.
Hold on. That's my concern here, though, right? Because it's sort of like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Well,
and that is a dangerous slope to play. That is a dangerous game to play. That can blow up on you.
Yeah, you know who we need to call about that?
If you're trying to build for the next 2 years, then are you better off eliminating Eli Manning's contract now and playing the rookie, knowing that you want him to have some growing pains in the first 2 years because you're playing for 2019 and 2020? It sort of makes the argument to play the younger kid.
But
I mean, you're wasting. I know you guys. I know what you're saying, and I get it. Eli gives us the best chance to win, and Eli and the same old shit. And I get it, right? It's a good argument. It's a good argument. You can't argue against it, right? Bullshit.
Here's the thing, James. I agree with you to a point. I would like to see him, get his bumps. Personally, I want Darnold. I think that would be the best case scenario.
I'm with you, Tim.
Would Darnold come in here and sitting him behind Eli for a year? Because honestly, that's the way it used to be. It used to be, hey, you draft a quarterback, they sit a year behind the veteran and learn.
But it's not like that
learn
anymore.
The system. But it doesn't mean
with
it doesn't.
The game today, it's not like that anymore, though. These kids are playing, and you saw how beneficial it is for these kids to be playing right away. And I got news for you.
Honestly,
some of them are playing really well off the bat.
And
look at and hold on, if we draft Darnold, right? You draft a guy like Darnold. You have to figure that in the first season you're looking at, and I'm not comparing him to Trubisky. I'm saying that in the first season, you're probably looking at a very Trubisky-like season. Fumbles, turnovers, frustration, some good plays, lots of flashes, a lot of frustration. Can run, use his legs a little bit. You can see him getting better. Now, what if who was the moron that they got from Glennon? What if Glennon didn't get hurt or ended up being to the point where he was serviceable? And they ended up winning a couple of games, and now they didn't end up seeing Trubisky at all this season.
Well, as far as Chicago, they did that stupid. If they wanted Trubisky the whole time, it was stupid to get Glennon in the first place.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But they signed Glennon before the draft, and then So what I'm saying is that okay? So. If you're Chicago now, you've been through this shit season with Trubisky, but if I'm a Chicago Bears fan, from what I saw from Mitch Trubisky, I expected that this season, and now I'm saying, all right, I saw some flashes. This kid could be pretty good.
No,
so now can he make
the
the leap to year 2, from year 2 to year 3? But you didn't waste that year of seeing the bullets fly. You had the year with the fumbles and the turnovers and the interceptions and the bad reads and the mistakes, and you had all of that. You
yeah,
have
but
to
you could also
get through
you
that.
could also say by them coming in slowly, it could be a smoother transition without as many turnovers and fumbles and whatnot. By them actually knowing the system.
What about the situation though, where it's week 10 next year? Okay. We're 3-7, and we're in the same position now that we were in last year.
Well, if that's the case, if let's say we're 3-7 and Eli has been starting, he's getting benched. There's no way.
But now you're. But do you see now the clusterfuck that you're in?
No, but here's the problem with that, James. And I know that you're going to be tired of hearing this, but I will tell you this until I'm blue in the face. I believe this in my core. This is a core belief of who I am as a human being. Eli Manning wouldn't have had a problem with giving playing time if he was giving playing time to Davis Webb from the jump. But when that giant
Eli Manning doesn't get to make that decision.
With bad hair, bullshit. Bullshit.
Eli Manning doesn't get to make that decision.
Goo with bad hair, Ben McAdoo. Pulled Eli Manning into his office.
I don't think it was McAdoo's decision.
Feeding playing time to Geno Smith. You know what
I don't think it was McAdoo's decision.
Eli Manning said, "Fuck you, Ben."
I don't think it was McAdoo's decision.
I think it's
I think it was McAdoo and Reese because they're the reasons that Geno Smith was there.
If you remember how it was reported when the story first broke, if you remember how it was reported, okay, it was Mara.
Mara was in.
Mara went to Reese and said, "When do we see the younger guys, Geno and Webb?"
No,
the younger guys, plural. The younger guys. Geno was included.
Listen, Jimmy.
Whether we like it or not, whether you can go back and listen to the interviews.
No, I agree with you, but that was just paper talk. That was saying they didn't want to just go out and say.
No, it was a fucking quote. He said it.
I know he said it. I'm just
saying.
He said it for public.
He said, "When do we see the younger guys?" And Reese and McAdoo said, "We've talked about this already." Now, they had a conversation about it, which, considering their record and the quarterbacks coming out, yeah, I would hope so. And then when Mara put the play in motion and it went bad, he fired them both and went back to Eli Manning.
They didn't need to see Geno.
It doesn't matter what we think they needed to see. And they don't owe him an explanation. They're paying him $22 million. If they want to fucking put him out and tell him to play wide receiver, go fucking play wide receiver.
Yeah.
You're making $22 million. This is what we feel is in the best interest of the franchise right now, team player. Sit the fuck down. We don't owe you an explanation.
And so here's the thing, though. I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that Mara could give two shits about Geno Smith. He didn't think he was the future of this franchise. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, and I need you to listen to me because, again, I believe this in my core. All right?
Yes.
Mara wanted to see Webb. He wanted to see Webb. He went to Reese and McAdoo and implied to them that he wanted to see Webb. From all reports, Webb and Manning have a relationship. They're doing things. They're getting along in practice. He's tutoring him. They're eating lunch together. All that shit. All right? So McAdoo and Reese, in an effort to save their job and prove that they're not idiots, wanted to try to win some games. because they knew they couldn't win games with Webb. You don't put Webb in expecting that you're going to win. But if Geno plays and Geno wins some games, then McAdoo can go back to the owner and say, hey, listen, it's not my fault. I want a fucking game with Geno Smith. Eli Manning's the problem. So McAdoo was trying to throw Manning under the bus.
No, see, I don't fucking believe.
You can't throw Eli Manning under the bus to Mara because Eli Manning.
I don't believe that they threw Eli under the bus. I think what honestly happened is this: they got to the point where they were going to see the younger kids. Davis Webb hasn't been active the whole fucking season, and they were going to let Geno get a start for being the good soldier that was the number 2 quarterback for the entire season. They were going to do him the justice of giving him a start because he was the number 2 quarterback for the entire season. And then they were going to go to Webb from Dallas on. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Team player. Did your check clear, Eli? Yeah. Sit the fuck down.
Well, the problem is, they weren't playing Davis Webb. They weren't practicing him. They just weren't doing it.
But they weren't practicing him. They weren't practicing him because of the fact that they still thought they had a fucking playoff team. It was an abject failure on every level. There was no one in control looking ahead. But they did get to the point where there was still 5 weeks of football that you could have seen Davis Webb play. And because they went to Geno Smith, that plan went awry? I mean, come on.
Well, it wasn't even that. But once you fired the coach, Spagnuolo was fighting for a coaching job.
But that's still Mara's decision.
He was going for wins.
But that's still Mara's decision. It's still Mara's team. And Mara goes to Spagnuolo and goes, hey, jerk off. I'm going to make you the interim head coach. Here's the deal. I'm not going to judge you based off of wins and losses. I'm going to judge you on keeping this team together and how hard they play because it's a complete clusterfuck in there. But I need to see this kid play him. End of meeting, Steve. Go. That's run your team. You're not in a position to where this isn't business as usual. This was a situation that was a complete clusterfuck. But you had an opportunity to do the right thing. The right thing was in motion to do. That was not hurt Eli's feelings, but see Davis Webb. And if you had to play the good soldier, because it's in football terms, you want to do the right thing. The guy was the number 2 quarterback. You have other players in that locker room. It's the natural course where he would get a start. Then sit the fuck down, Eli. Geno's playing. I don't think they owe him an explanation. Sit down.
Listen, in terms of the Eli response to the benching, I just want to throw this out there. All right? So Eli Manning, he knows the way that the game is played. Hell, he was a rookie.
Oh, we know that.
He was a rookie. He
manipulated his way from San Diego to New York.
Was mentored by Kurt Warner and then came in. So I don't think he's averse to that process. I think what he's averse to is having a 209-game start streak and having that broken by Geno Smith. And I think
who fucking who?
Occurred,
I'm sure San Diego's franchise was disappointed when you maneuvered your way to get to New York and told them you didn't want to play for them. I'm sure they're just as upset as you are right now. So sit the fuck down and stop crying.
I think Eli.
Sit down and stop crying, Eli.
When the streak
Eli's got
was
2 rings. Phil Rivers has none.
You're missing the point. Before he took an NFL snap, he manipulated his way from San Diego to New York. He was drafted by the San Diego Chargers, gentlemen.
I know
he
that.
He was not drafted by the New York Giants.
When the streak was broken by Geno.
Oh, my God, the streak. Oh, my God, the streak. Streak.
They were not pleased because Geno.
What else were we playing for at that point?
What was our record then? What was our record then, Justin?
I don't care what the record is.
Oh, I do. because that dictates what I have to do going into next year. I'm looking at the younger kids on my roster because I have to evaluate them because I'm 1-10. So fuck your streak. Fuck your streak.
There's plenty of tape on Geno Smith in our own city, in our own market.
But it was a step to get to Webb. They couldn't go from Eli to Webb. You couldn't jump over Geno. You got a whole locker room of guys. He was the number 2 quarterback all year long. That means something. It may not mean something to you, but it means something in an NFL locker room.
We're trying to lose games. Play Davis Webb. Don't play Geno. Don't play Geno. That's a slap in the face. So Eli went back to management and said, hey, listen,
It's a slap in his face. He's getting paid $22 million, and he's not worth it.
There's more to respect than money, James.
Yeah. About the locker room.
How about performance?
Here's the deal.
Can you perform up to your contract?
Fine. I'll admit it. He underperformed. But that doesn't change the fact that Eli went to management.
Can you step up and be a leader in the locker room for $22 million?
And he said, hey, I didn't enjoy that. You can't trade me now, but the way it stands right now, I'm not coming back next year. And the Giants knew 2 things. They knew, 1, the trade deadline was passed, and that because of Eli's cap number, they couldn't cut him without taking a massive cap hit, which they weren't willing to take. At the same time, perfect storm style,
franchise has no balls.
Through a catastrophic shit fit. And
the
so
franchise
Mara
has no balls. The franchise has no balls.
Hey, you know what? You know
he has
what?
no balls.
Mara
has no balls, and
Jerry
Tish is all worried
gone.
about his look, his perception, how he's perceived. Mara is looking to 18 other people to make decisions. Oh, of course, he'd come here and hire this guy for me so he can make all the decisions. And then Tish, you do that. Fucking give me a break. It's a mess.
It was business decisions. That's all it was. Business 100%. Decisions.
He can't make decisions. He can't do anything. He had to hire a Corsi to bring in Gettleman.
Decisions you didn't like.
That's
the whole reason. I called the McAdoo thing. I said the McAdoo thing was a fucking joke. If you hired McAdoo because of Eli Manning, you made a huge mistake. That ended up being right.
And so they hired Pat Shurmur to mold a young quarterback, and you didn't like that either.
Yep.
No, get me the young quarterback. But go with the young quarterback.
That's what they're going to do.
Well, then do it. Don't bring me back Eli. Don't bring me back Eli. If you're drafting the young quarterback, play him. Don't waste my time trying to patch a roster. What can I do with that? What can I get the dead money off the cap? Trade him for a 2nd or 3rd round pick and get some value back. I don't give a fuck. Get rid of his cap number.
No, because
again, he has a no trade clause.
So you go to him. You go to him.
No.
You go to him and you sit down and you say, pick a fucking team, get out. Wait it.
But here's what you're missing about
in a room with him. I'll get him to waive his no fucking trade clause.
No. Yeah, you will. And then he'll kill you.
Yeah.
And then Luca Brasi held a gun to his head, and he said either your brains or your signature will be on this contract. Fuck out of here. Get me in a room. Let me negotiate with him.
You know what,
Here's
guys?
the fucking deal, Eli.
Let's just get excited about this offseason. Because I'm done worrying about what stupid shit they did during the season. This offseason is going to be exciting.
When's the draft?
We don't know what Gettleman's going to do. And now that we just changed up the defense, we don't know what the hell is going to happen with them either.
When's the draft? Is the draft in May again?
I don't know. I'm terrified of how this offseason is going to go.
We going to Dallas? We going to Dallas for the draft, guys?
Is Marco flying us out for the draft?
Road trip?
Listen,
flying.
At the very least, we're doing the draft live with the 2 pick. and all of the – I mean, remember when the Giants were picking at 4, the week leading up to that draft, they had us picking everybody. I saw mock drafts that had us picking Larry Fitzgerald and all 3 quarterbacks. So there's going to be a lot of misinformation and a lot of reports out in May, and it's going to be exciting. And we have the numbers.
It's going to be absolutely
we have
nauseating.
The key to this
is what
whole
it's going to
friggin'
be.
draft.
When did we pick 4?
When we picked Eli.
Yeah, when we picked Eli.
He was 4. We had the 4th pick at that time.
Yeah. And then Eli started crying. He didn't want to go to San Diego, and we made the trade.
It was so because if memory serves, and correct me if I'm wrong, those that might also remember, but Eli went 1.
Yeah.
Robert Gallery went 2.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Larry Fitzgerald went 3.
And Rivers went 4.
Rivers went 4, and Roethlisberger went like 11.
Yep. And that's the funny thing is, Giants, if they couldn't get Eli, they wanted Roethlisberger.
God,
this offseason is going to be nauseating.
And you know who else went in that draft that there was a lot of hype about was Kellen Winslow II. Went to the Browns at like 6.
Well, he was a soldier.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Remember he had the fatigues?
Yes.
That's right. Oh, God.
I saw him in the Target
draft.
parking lot the other day.
I taped that draft.
What was he doing there,
Jeff? Like 3 times.
What was he doing in the parking lot?
Instead of watching round
Oh,
4,
no, I
5,
didn't get
6,
close to the car enough. I didn't get close enough to look.
I rewatched the first round of the draft.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You rewatched the draft?
100%.
Wow. Holy fucking shit. Now wonder why. You are an Eli Kool-Aid guy.
First of all,
who? Is it on VCR?
See if
I don't have it anymore. But at the time, it was on VCR. I was a senior in college.
You didn't get it converted to DVD?
Bring out the beta.
I was a senior in college at Millersville State University.
Oh. My God. Eli.
I was so happy.
Justin, I'm gonna hire some Amish guys to build you an Eli statue outside of your house.
It was the best decision that the team has ever made.
Yeah, I agree.
You're gonna wake up in the morning. It's gonna be fucking me, Malachi, and Jebediah, and we're gonna be building an Eli statue.
There you go.
Well, you guys are the right state for that, so that's good.
Just do it on a Monday.
I got a bunch of Amish people on call.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I got the Amish Mafia on call. I call them up.
And they only build?
We churn butter. We do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You need some butter? I got some butter. I just churned some butter. I churned some butter.
Did you guys ever watch that Amish Mafia show?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny.
That was the best hour of television. Oh, class.
We live. That's where we live.
Justin, before I moved here is when I started watching Amish Mafia. So when I moved here, for the first 2 months that I was here, I just started driving around randomly looking for like Levi and all those guys.
Oh, absolutely. And you
thinking I was going to bump into them at like Walmart.
Not at Walmart, but
Mennonite,
you could find.
You could have got a Mennonite.
You could find those people where we live if you wanted to.
I'm afraid to. You see some of those guys on that show?
They're not.
Big Steve, the little midget guy, Little Wayne. They got a guy named Little Wayne.
They got their own
midget,
Lil Wayne?
little Amish midget named Wayne. Lil Wayne. I'm dead serious. They got a guy named Big Steve. He looks like a retarded hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's just cross-eyed. He can't speak. He carries around like a it's unbelievable.
The main place where that show took place, that's like 15 minutes from where I'm at right now.
And then they had there's laundry parties. Did you see this, Tim? When you were watching the show, they have laundry parties. I guess they throw parties to do laundry. Unbelievable. Most amazing thing.
You guys don't do that now?
Life.
You guys don't do that now? I do that.
I don't do laundry, Tim.
Laundry party all day.
What's up?
James, can you tell me how the laundry gets done?
Oh I have a female that does that for me.
Demi.
I have an au pair.
Oh, you do?
I hired an au pair. I don't have a kid that young, but I just hired an au pair to have one.
Interesting.
Yeah. My wife comes home and she's like, "Who's this? Who's this young, succulent young thing?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's the au pair, Becky."
I call her Khaleesi.
Hun, that's Becky.
My God. What time is it? Oh, 17 minutes left. Oh, my God.
Oh, it's that late? I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm done. I can't.
I can't argue with you guys anymore.
We're doomed. Captain Negative. Was that you, Marco, who did the Captain Negative? That's great.
Yes, that was me.
Oh, we were so mad that you weren't on the show last week when you had that.
How many times did you play Captain Negative?
Frequently.
This is a couple times. We were literally waiting for you.
Oh, that's so great.
I feel like this was a good show tonight. Not to toot my own horn on the air, but this was some of our best stuff when we argue.
Yeah, arguing is the most fun about this.
That's every day.
That's why
I literally wish people saw the stuff we write on that Facebook chat.
If you guys want to know the honest truth, I agree with you guys on everything. I just disagree because I just want the show to be good.
It works for me.
I literally disagree with James on the Facebook chat just to get him started. Just to get him fucking
you motherfuckers. It's like you fucking try to taunt me.
I feel like Tim invests a lot of time in just
Trolling
thinking about things that he should say that will send Jimmy into next week.
And I have a short fuse.
And I worry
just
about
troll
that
all day.
I worry about that because Jimmy's trying to quit smoking. Is that still working out for you, or
yeah, it's still working out. Still doing well. Although I'm getting close
Tim
to murder.
I figured Tim would have driven you to smoke half a pack at least.
Oh, if my daughters haven't driven me to smoke yet, there's no way Tim will.
Yeah, that's.
All right, I got an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old in the house. All right, if I'm not shooting up, I'm winning.
Damn, you quit smoking and you have 18 and 14-year-olds? Damn.
Well, what I've done is I've just become a mute. I don't talk to anyone anymore, so no one can get on my nerves. I've just become completely silent. So I'm healthy, but now I'm just completely antisocial with it.
Now it makes a lot more sense on why you have so much Facebook hate. Because you're in the room by yourself and you have to get it out.
Show.
I hate what they did. I hate how they're running the team. I hate it. And I can't.
It's like you're gonna call CPS.
Hey,
I honestly feel like all of you guys in this Eli thing, I really feel like it's Stockholm syndrome, and there's some weird obsession going on here. He's the only quarterback that can, that we can't trade him. He's the only quarterback that has to finish in the same jersey. God forbid. Montana didn't do it. Forget about Montana. Forget about Peyton. Forget about all those guys.
Eli.
You can't do that to Eli. But you can do that to all those other guys. You can't do
even
that.
if they wanted to.
No,
Even
but
if
I'm
they
just
wanted to.
saying that you could have. If they wanted to, they can get it done. There's a way to get it done. But I'm talking about in general from the fan base's perspective of you can't trade Eli, you can't trade Eli, you can't you could. You can get rid of Eli. Life goes on as long as you're smart about it. And they're in a position now to be smart about it and move on with a young kid who has a lot of potential.
Yep.
Do it. Don't go half-ass. Do it.
I know I was a little late to the show, but have we talked about the Super Bowl?
Not one fucking iota.
I know you have no want. I hate both teams.
Well,
I hate both teams with a passion.
So what do you
Belichick.
What are you?
Are you Giant fans on fucking drugs? How is this even a see? This is the shit that makes me end up in a straitjacket.
We already know you root for the Patriots.
This isn't even a question. But I've always rooted for the I've always rooted for the Patriots as my second team because of Belichick. Because of Belichick. God. And even Parcells was the Patriots coach. Parcells was the Patriots coach before that. Parcells was the Patriots coach before that, guys. I grew up with Parcells and Belichick. Belichick could do no wrong in my eyes. I loved him when I was a kid. Loved him.
And I'm with you with James. This is the press conference I want to happen after the Super Bowl. I want to see the Patriots.
And wait a minute, hold on. And then when we have Myron Guyton on the show, right? And Myron Guyton rants and raves about Belichick. We have Gary Reasons on the show. He rants and raves about Belichick. Like, I don't get what the fucking problem is, Giant fans, with Belichick and the Patriots. Like, they beat up on the Jets. We should get a kick out of that. They're not in our conference. They're not in our division. And they can't say shit to us because we fucking beat them twice. So what's the problem?
James, I'm 100%
You're going to root for the Eagles? Stop
it.
You're not rooting for the Eagles. Stop it. Root for Handsome. You'll have a better Sunday.
This is the press conference I want to happen. This is the press conference. I want Belichick, after they win the Super Bowl, to be like,
I'm stepping down.
Well, I'm going to step down. I wanted to take the Giants job, but they already hired
Oh,
Matt
my
Shurmur.
God. He doesn't even have to say that. If he steps down, you're going to – remember Celtic Pride where they fucking kidnapped Damon Wayans? I'm kidnapping Mara. I'm gone. Fuck my job. Fuck my family. I am out. I am kidnapping John Mara. I am taking him to an undisclosed location, and I am not letting him out until he fully explains to me what the fuck is going on. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to jeopardize his life. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to take him from his family at all. I just want a thorough explanation so that it makes sense to me what the fuck is going on.
Why does Steve Tisch get no blame?
Because that guy's a puppet.
Yeah, but he's a figurehead.
That guy's a figurehead. That guy's like, hey, I have money. I'm in Hollywood. I'll show up for a meeting whenever I want. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Tisch? Show up for the meeting.
Figurehead, if you're listening, Steve Tisch, if you're listening, Marco, give him the number.
Sure, yeah, that's not a problem. It's 516-453-3888.
There's a great question. What is Steve Tisch doing that he can't make a fucking meeting?
He's busy making moves in Hollywood.
We should call the Giants. We should call the Giants number, and we should ask them. I want to know where the fuck Steve Tisch was. What is he do? I want to know what's on his schedule. Hey, Gettleman, tell me what's on his schedule that he couldn't make it to these meetings for the head coaches. I'm just curious.
He called in, though. He called in to the meeting.
He conference line.
Oh, that's nice. The one meeting.
He did a little go-to meeting.
So the other thing that I want to talk about
He used the same number we do.
Yeah.
Because I'm perplexed by this. Just say, although I would think it's highly unlikely, but just say that the Eagles win the Super Bowl.
Oh, my God.
In a few weeks. Forget the personal hell that Jimmy and I will be in, being where they are geographically. But what happens to Nick Foles then?
He becomes a butler. He goes somewhere else and he'll get a starting job.
But he's under contract. They would have to trade him. So then my question is, if Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl, if he beats the Patriots, first of all, that in my mind that damages Eli's legacy because now multiple teams will have beaten Pretty Boy in the Super Bowl. But,
right, I agree with that.
But that aside, what is Nick Foles' value if he wins the Super Bowl? Because the Eagles,
backup
they're not going to cut him because Wentz is injured. They might trade him, but what are they going to get for him? Because Case Keenum.
No, what I would do is I'd bring him back,
Alex
knowing
Smith,
that Wentz isn't going to be ready to start the
available.
season next year. Wentz is not going to be ready to start the season next year. So you bring him back, you let him play, and when Wentz is ready, he goes right back to his fucking role as sitting on the bench.
Oh, that's dirty. That's dirty.
They don't owe him nothing.
You know
Carson
what?
Wentz.
Well,
I got Carson Wentz. Go sit the fuck down.
You know what, Nick Foles?
They
You're getting
don't owe him
$2 million
nothing.
this season. You can't.
They don't owe him a
to say.
thing. Thank you. You did your job. Here's your ring. Did your check clear? Yes. Sit the fuck down. Carson's playing. Carson, you ready? Go right in. I mean, come on.
Here's Luca. He wants to talk to you about your contract.
All I can imagine is if the four of us were actually running the team, how much we would have to. We would have to go with it.
Did you guys see the movie Moneyball?
After James talked to him.
Did you guys see the movie Moneyball? Did you
Yeah.
see the movie Moneyball? Right, the movie Moneyball with the scene where Brad Pitt is sitting there with Jonah Hill and he's telling them about how they trade players, like I'm a player, tell me you're traded, like what happens, blah blah blah. Do you see what they do? You've been traded to this team. Here's the number for their player personnel. Have a nice fucking day. Like I don't get it. I don't get it.
Baseball.
Like I don't get what all these. Like I get it. Like we're fans. We have feelings. We love these players. Blah 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 blah. But like the players are the players. When they go to if they go to different teams, they're still the same players. Like you can still like them. But like what's best for the franchise?
Not when they go
Giants
to the Eagles.
fan first.
I don't like when they go to the Eagles.
Yeah, but these guys are trying. In the same respect, though, they're going to go where they get paid. If the Eagles are saying, here's a contract, and you're looking at it and other teams aren't offering you as much, and you're in a sport where you can blow out your knee at any minute, you go play for the Philadelphia Eagles because the Giants have no problem saying, here's the door.
Yeah.
Blow out their,
you know, it's
blow out their knee.
It's interesting to hear you talking about that, James, because what it reminds me of, and granted, it's a little bit of a different situation because Kerry Collins never won us any Super Bowls. And when Eli was picked, Kerry Collins was coming off of a knee injury. But if you remember, when it was time to draft Eli, supposedly the guy that gave the rubber stamp to pull the trigger was Wellington Mara. But he had to be convinced. And he had to be convinced by John Mara and company because he was loyal to.
I think he was convinced by. I think he was convinced by a Corsi.
Yeah, it was a Corsi.
But there's the difference between father and son because it killed him making that decision with Kerry Collins, but he made it. It killed him making that decision with Phil Simms, but he made it.
And Sonny Boy
we
doesn't
also,
have it in him.
Hostetler was better anyway.
Get the fuck out of here. And Hostetler wasn't even on the team then when they cut him. Hostetler was in Oakland or some shit.
Who was the backup quarterback when when Simms got cut? I don't remember.
That was the year they went. The next year they went and they had the competition with Dave Brown and Kent Graham, and Dave Brown was the quarterback.
Dave fucking Brown.
Yeah.
Dave Brown,
supplemental
pick
draft.
from Duke.
Oh,
Dave Brown.
He was great.
And Phil Simms was coming off maybe his best year as a pro. And he was coming off shoulder surgery, but the reports were he was fine, but he had a big cap number. Cut.
You know what, though? It was about the next 10 years, not the last 10 years.
It was. You're right. You're 100% right. And they shit the bed, and they made it, and it killed me as a fan then, but it taught me something. It taught me something.
It taught you.
I can tell you right, I was when they cut Sims, I was devastated. Let me tell you, fucking devastated. But one thing, I got over it, and I cheered for Dave Brown. And here's the other thing, it taught me something very young in life. It's a business.
Never cheer for Dave Brown?
Never cheer for Dave Brown.
I have a
ever.
question for you. I have a question for you that I'm interested by the answer. How much weed did you smoke the day after they cut Phil?
None. I didn't smoke then. I was young. I was 93, 90. I was young. I was playing basketball. No, I wasn't. No. I was young. I was a young lad then.
That was before you.
I took that one. I took that one sober to the heart. That one. Dude, I could tell you where I was, what time of day I found out. Like, that destroyed me.
Woo. If memory serves, the whole reason that you started using it medicinally was because you had the ankle injury, right? So you needed it for, like, the pain management. So that was before that all happened. So that makes sense because our friend Jimmy only uses it for medicinal purposes, boys and girls. So
yes, well, that's the only reason.
Don't get it twisted.
Yes, 100%.
It's just medicinal.
Yes. I can't take pills. I can't take any of that stuff, dude. I can't. Ugh.
Now that that's clear. All right, we got 2 minutes to go. This has been riveting.
Thank God nobody's
analysis.
listening.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what you think.
Was there like 2 people listening to this shit?
We got no. We have a lot.
Marco, whose turn is it on the 8-ball game?
There's only who else is playing that? I need to get more games going.
I don't even know what you young lads are talking about.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the 8-ball game is either, James.
We play a game
on
Marco and I play a game up. We play pool on Facebook Messenger.
Yes.
And I just want to put it out there that, James, how do you feel that our defensive coordinator is younger than you?
Good. I feel good. I feel worried a little bit that he's younger than me and it looks like I'm in better shape than he is.
How old is he?
He's 39. 39.
39.
Yes.
So he could be here for a while.
He'll be a head coach next year. The year after.
When Shurmur ends up in a straitjacket from the New York media.
No, listen, despite their performance in the NFC Championship game, I really like Shurmur.
Here's my impression of Steve Shurmur. Ready? Here we go. Ready? Who dat?
Who's Steve Shurmur?
Pat Shurmur. What's his name? Pat Shurmur. Ready? Who's ready? Here it is.
Who dat?
Who dat? I don't even know who the fuck he is. Who is this guy? Where'd they find this guy?
So James is gonna be the biggest Pat Shurmur fan mid-season.
Oh, you better hope so. Because if this guy shits the bed, Mr. Mara, Celtic pride. Answer me, John.
Wait, listen. I have a question.
15 seconds.
This will be a great way to end the show. I want to know. I want to know because we spend a lot of time talking with Jimmy about this. So what record, at what point next year will you have looked at Pat Shurmur and said,